It's way past time I dispense some indiscriminate justice!
G'day guys, Duckville here. We're into Game 3, the final game between Darkcell and Destiny from MLG Columbus, of course. As mentioned in a couple of the earlier games, this is between these guys in the open bracket sort of position of the tournament. This is from the winners division, I believe. I'm not, you know, the whole situation with how those sorts of things works at tournaments is way beyond me, especially on a Sunday when it's like 4 degrees outside. So you know where it is. It's MLG. These two dudes obviously very awesome. We've seen in these past 2 games some massive sort of roach and infester battles. We've seen some interesting positional battles as well, when one player sort of had a little bit of an upside on his actual unit count and then actually lost to a lower unit count based on positioning. And it's just been a great little ride here for these past 2 games, and I'm hoping that this 3rd game could go the distance as well, and perhaps we'll even see some hive tech. I would really love to see some hive tech between these 2 guys. For the moment though, they are sticking on the same little path here. We've got these 2 sorts of same sort of builds going for the moment until Darkcell deviates, going for his standard sort of that's like a 14 extractor, I believe. And we'll probably see the standard sort of Zerg versus Zerg build from Destiny, where he grabs that spawning pool. We'll probably see it. There it is. It's going to go down right about now, and then he'll probably wait until he can get a spine crawler out and get his gas as well. So he's sticking with this particular strategy. I would assume this is MLG version of Shattered Temple. So of course, once again, that does mean that this supply depot is here, which of course is totally irrelevant in this particular matchup. One thing it does mean though is that you cannot be close ground positions. So as we can see here, both of these guys sort of scouted those close air positions, as you would do as a standard thing on this map, but it means that you won't actually be in these positions here where you're close ground positions this way. So that's obviously to help offset the difference with Zerg versus Protoss in Terran. But obviously in this matchup, it can be a little bit of a difference as well. I suppose if one of the players was to go for an earlier pool, if let's just say if Darkcell went for a 6 pool and Destiny was doing this standard sort of thing, he'd actually have a lot less room to move. So there it is, the extractor just about done, the spine crawler going up, the roach warren just about going up, and there's the transfer of the drones into the gas. So sticking with that standard play is Destiny, of course. A couple of lings popping out from Darkcell as well. Again, he is also sticking with this standard sort of thing. He did this in the last couple of games where he grabbed a couple of lings, got 4 lings out, and then just sort of runs around the map, has a quick look at what Destiny is up to, and then he'll obviously deviate his particular plan from there. But obviously, these guys haven't really done too much deviation from the norm. They've really both been going for the roaches. We haven't actually seen any banelings from either of them, which is quite interesting. Of course, as we mentioned, these guys sort of sticking with these one base sort of openings to the game, and then sort of deciding what to do once they get to that point where they can grab that natural expansion. Now, Darkcell gets in, sees that there's just this standard sort of thing from Destiny again, and we'll probably see the same sorts of positional plays from these guys, and it looks as if Darkcell is going to grab that hatchery as he did in the prior game as well, and he's going to be ready to get his 2nd hatchery pumping once that's up and running. Meanwhile, a couple of these lings just scouting out what's going on here from Darkcell, and seeing that there's no counter roach warren, no baneling nest, of course. You don't really want banelings against roaches, and he did actually see this hatchery being put down as well. So he's going to grab his own hatchery up here at the natural at the top, and he's going to be ready to roll. So what are the sort of options you could see? I'm not totally a Zerg versus Zerg expert, but I suppose we could see perhaps a little bit of deviation from these guys. Of course, mutas are really hard to use in Zerg versus Zerg, given that that fungal really does sort of help out with destroying mutas quite easily, but we'll see if that's the case. Of course, given the patch that the sort of snare of fungal was lowered, given that it's not as long as it used to be. I think it was, what was it? It was 8 seconds, and now it's 6 or something like that. I'm not actually sure. As I said, I'm not a Zerg expert, but you could see mutas perhaps used a little bit more frequently now with Zerg players, given that that change was made. But meanwhile, DarkCell just running around here with a few lings. How have all of these lings survived? In fact, yep, every single ling actually getting straight back out of the base there, scouting out what was happening. Saw those standard sort of, it was a standard 5 roaches that come out from Destiny, actually getting a few more now. He has a total of 9 roaches out on the map, along with a couple more on the way, of course, as we can see, and his economy is still going quite nicely, but it is actually still, again, just a little bit far behind where DarkCell was. So DarkCell is currently sitting at 25 drones to the 20 of Destiny, and there we go. We do have that +1 to weapons on the way. We've got a second extractor here. There are no third or fourth extractors just for the moment, but of course that does not mean they won't be taken quite shortly, of course, and we could see, as I mentioned, we could see that switch to mutas, but I'm probably going to count that one out for the moment, given that these guys have been doing these absolutely fantastic wars with their roaches and their infestors, so we'll probably see the gas a little bit later once they're ready to start taking up to those infestors, as mentioned. So we do see a couple of roaches just banging away with their claws on the rocks here. We did see a little bit of an attack there, but don't think that's going to go too well there for DarkCell. He's just sort of poking in, just checking out what's happening. Meanwhile, back at home, he is droning up a little bit more. We've got four drones on the way, about to pop out an Overlord, and the +1 to missile weapons is just about done. So he's going to be ready to start getting those roaches out in greater numbers, along with a lair. As we can see here, the lair is almost there. Around about 3/4 done. He's going to have that done in just a moment, and then we'll see if he's going to grab that quick the roach speed, as well as we've seen him do in the prior games, and perhaps he's may actually take this gold expansion as well. He may be just taking it down for future reference, or perhaps he is going to take it pretty quickly there. I would be actually quite happily surprised if he did take that. That'd be quite fun to see them take that quick gold and make that sort of risky sort of play there. And if he can keep up with the roaches of Destiny, he may be able to hold it. But we'll see what happens. As we can see here, we do have the third and the fourth extractors coming up here from DarkCell, so he is going to be getting the infested tech probably pretty soon, I would assume. Hasn't actually got anything popping out, but apart from a lot of drones, actually, let's have a look at the drone tab. We actually have, wow, we actually have 52 drones here from DarkCell and 37 from Destiny. So Destiny is actually way behind on that front. Only just getting his lair up and running. It's around about half done, and his second extractor done there, along with the third and fourth on the way. These guys are generally sort of in the same sort of region of their progression through the tech and everything, but Destiny is sort of in front in terms of the his army at the moment. As we can see here, the army tab, we'll have a quick look at that. We actually have Destiny just a little bit in front here, 14 supply in front, but he is behind quite a large amount on the workers, as we can see here. DarkCell with beautiful saturation there, and more beautiful saturation on the main base. So he's going to be able, whilst he is quite a little bit behind here on the army for the moment, he will be able to get that back quite soon once he actually gets the full sort of potential of his economy rolling. Destiny, meanwhile, these guys are getting their same sorts of tech as well, as we can see on the main here from Destiny. He's actually getting the Overlord speed, so that's going to be done soon, and the infestation pit on the way as well. So not really sure what these guys are sort of trying to plan on doing. I suppose they're just going to try and be better at what they're doing than the other is, given that they're doing almost the exact same builds. Although, have a look here, we do have on the production tab that DarkCell is actually going for Overlord drops, so he will be able to have that the ventral sacks there, which does help out. Destiny's Overlord just quite happy that that upgrade came just in time, getting this Overlord speed, so he will be able to run away from that Queen just in time. Meanwhile, have a look at this, we do have an Overlord creep highway starting up here. These guys are getting started on that construction. They'll probably put a little bit more, maybe to the center of the map at least, to make sure that he can get that far with his roaches, and of course get his reinforcements going. That can really help out if you are trying to get an attack done. Some pressure, of course, put on, which really helps. Now, DarkCell has actually taken this gold, so this could be very cool if he gets this up and running. The one little advantage of this base is that you can actually block that up quite nicely. Obviously, you can put perhaps an Evo chamber and something else down, and then put some spine crawlers behind it, and you can really cover off that base quite nicely from run-bys or any sorts of heavy sort of roach pressure, which we may see coming from Destiny in a moment. But meanwhile, as we can see here, Destiny's still trying to drone up, trying to catch up with where we did have DarkCell's drone count at. But as you can see, both these guys with their pathogen glands almost done. We'll probably see, there it is, we actually have the infestors on the way from Darkcell, and we'll probably see Destiny's probably going to pump out in just a moment. But have a look down here at that gold base there, attempting to get that third base up is Darkcell. Creep Highway sort of helping out Darkcell to defend there, but there are way too many roaches here for him to defend against. That hatchery goes down, takes that one out just as it completes, and unfortunately enough for Darkcell, he's going to have to get that one rebuilt again. Now, the problem that he's had with that is that he has actually had to contend with one up here from Destiny. Meanwhile, Destiny might cancel this one. I don't think. No, he's actually going to let it build. This could be very interesting because he doesn't really have too much to help out here. Meanwhile, Darkcell deciding to drop into the natural expansion. These are roaches, so they are going to do a nice amount of damage against these drones here. The hatchery does go down, meanwhile, but over here at the natural expansion, these drones are going to have to run away, and another attack commences as well up in the main, taking out the infestation pit. That is actually quite huge for Destiny. He's going to have to rebuild that, get that up and running, and then get his infestors popping out again. Meanwhile, another roach battle going on. This is all over the place, folks. We've got roach battles everywhere. We've got some infestors finally popping out. It looks as if Destiny may win this particular battle here because he does obviously have a few more roaches here. He decides that sniping off that infestor is a better idea. Meanwhile, back here at the base of Destiny, he's going to have a couple of roaches to contend with in the main base, but there is a spine crawler there. Should be able to poke away at those roaches, not to mention a couple of backup roaches are coming inside now as well, and he should be able to clean that up nicely. So overall, I'm not really sure who sort of benefited out of that one. We did have a base getting up here for Darkcell, so perhaps it was a bit of a better sort of battle there for Darkcell, given that he did get this up and running quite nicely. Sniped off the infestation pit, which is still, it is finally being rebuilt here. It's over here at the side, and he's obviously gotten that sort of tech advantage up on top of Destiny. Of course, the tech was already there, and a few infestors did come out, but given the fact that Destiny now has to wait to rebuild all of those, he could be in a little bit of trouble. But we can see here that some of the roaches from Darkcell are coming across the map. Perhaps wants to snipe off this base again. This Overlord is here checking out what's going on, and it looks as if we've got a couple of these Overlords just still hanging out in the front of the base, just you know, just chilling while the Queen shoots away at them. And these Overlords, not sure what's going on here. We got another Overlord coming in the back there. Drops commencing here, and Contaminate goes down on that hatchery. Drops in 2 roaches to say hello, boys. Targets that Queen. May in fact get that Queen down before the roaches get poked away by the spine crawlers. Meanwhile, over at the side, another attack coming through the backdoor third base there. The roaches did get counted down, and then these roaches are actually going to get rid of the rest of these ones here from Darkcell. So another little drop inside the main here. This is fantastic play from Darkcell, just dropping everywhere. Got that one infestor that's still out here, putting down a fungal growth, which will give Destiny the advantage here. And he does take out all of those roaches, but meanwhile, as we mentioned, he's still struggling to keep up in the infestor count. We do see that 4 are on the way for Darkcell. He's going to have a total of 6. Meanwhile, Destiny has his own 6 just at the moment. But have a look at this. We also have the gold base going up now for Darkcell. So he's going to have this backdoor third plus the gold base as well. And with a few spine crawlers going up here, we got 2 spine crawlers and a spore crawler. But hello, Destiny actually gets inside with 1 burrowed infestor. This could be very interesting. If he puts it down, puts down some fungals in the right spots, he could do a lot of damage here. But attacks are occurring up in the top left corner. We've got a base under attack here by these roaches. A few leftover roaches from an earlier attack. Meanwhile, perhaps another attack is going on. Yes, it is in the main. Darkcell is not done with these drops. He's continuing to put them down. He's not losing any of his overlords, which is quite interesting to see. This infestor still sitting around. He's not doing too much, but another battle going on in the front door of Destiny's main. Losing only a few units, and Darkcell actually lost more himself there. And as we can see, an infestor going down, that is not good at all for Darkcell. He's probably going to need to get a few more out. He is indeed pumping out 12 roaches along with 3 infestors. This infestor, I really want to see what this infestor is going to do. Darkcell actually getting cornered here, being pushed into this side base, but the roaches have decided to leave them alone for the moment, and that infestor's still waiting on what that one's going to do. Finally, this actually comes out too late here, and Destiny is going to be kicking himself because he actually let that go. That was a beautiful time to actually put down those the fungal growths you would assume he would put out, so that he could actually destroy a lot of those of the drones that were sitting there at the expansion, but just not enough time to actually focus on that sort of thing. Of course, in StarCraft, you've got to focus on about 80 billion things, as we can see here. We actually have the APM of both of these guys sitting up at a nice level there, sitting up at 130 for Destiny, 155 for DarkCell, so these guys are both doing a lot of things per minute, of course, and that means that, you know, watching out for that one little infestor that's there in a beautiful position is, whilst it's a beautiful thing if you can get it running, it's obviously a lot of trouble if you're going to mess up something else. So DarkCell is, I would say DarkCell is in a bit of a lead here. He is obviously in a supply lead. He's currently sitting at 190 supply to the 151 of Destiny. And we'll have a quick look at the unit count to see exactly what that comprises of. Destiny has a lot more infestors. He's got 11 infestors to the 4 of DarkCell, but he does have a little bit less on the roach count, of course. The trade-off there with the high infestor count is the roaches, and 52 roaches for DarkCell to the 38 of Destiny. So not really sure what Destiny is going to do here. He is going to need to rely on some beautiful fungals to make sure that he can actually snipe off the roaches if possible, and then if he can do that, he can of course get into the battle with the rest of his roaches and do a decent amount of damage. More infestors still popping out here for DarkCell. He's not too worried about these drops that have been going on. He's not really doing too many of them just at the moment. Here's some roaches just sitting down here at the side. Would love to see them come back into the battle group over here, but we'll see if he's going to do that sort of thing. Meanwhile, Queens are running out here to snipe off some of these overseers and the overlords that are sitting around the map. Not catching that one in time, but it looks as if Destiny is really doing a good job getting back into shape with his economy. He is, of course, down on a base, not to mention the gold base. He is down on that as well, but it looks as if Destiny is going to have a little bit to contend with here. Some infestors putting down fungals on the infestors of DarkCell. A couple of these are going to burst open. There they go. Beautiful fungals up on the top here, and we do see that DarkCell is actually going to do a decent job here. There are fungals everywhere from Destiny. Of course, we did mention he had a higher infestor count, but he's actually in, he's still in a little bit of trouble here, given that a lot of these roaches are quite close to death. Spine Crawlers poking away, infested Terrans now popping out from Destiny. They are going to help out with popping away those roaches, and they do get deflected, so a nice little attack there. It's sort of evened up a little bit for a moment there on the army tab, but we do see that with that huge economy that DarkCell has, he is able to just totally remake all of that army in split seconds. Of course, as we can see here, he's right back up to 192 supply. He's got this gold up and running, which is just giving him a massive boost, and now attempting to even go for this 5th base up here. Now he does have a total of the 6 hatches. He's got one macro hatch up inside here. He's got the gold along with the natural, the 3rd, and now this 4th, the 5th base actually, which is going to be awesome to see. And as we can see here, look at this count here of these roaches, these infestors running across the map. He is in a commanding lead, as we can see, with that gold expansion, and I would say this is probably going to be close to the end of Destiny if he does not pull some sort of rabbit out of a hat. And I don't have a hat on me, I only have a hoodie. I don't think you can pull things out of a hoodie, but it looks as if he may go in for the attack here, making sure that the gold is covered. A fungal from, wow, that is like a sniper fungal growth over there. Takes out 3 of those infestors. Brilliant job there, but it looks as if DarkCell has resumed his drop play, and he's dropped some roaches over here on the 3rd expansion of Destiny. Destiny's got enough roaches to deflect this attack, but the problem is he actually has another attack here at the front door of the natural. Spine Crawlers poking away at everything. Of course, the Spine Crawlers cannot be fungal growth, and it looks as if Destiny will hold this for now. Again, just sort of holding off with the skin of his teeth there, and obviously the skin of like 1,000 infestors, which also helps. I don't know, do they have teeth? I can't see teeth on this little portrait thing, but he's done a great job of holding off that attack. We see the DarkCell is now pumping away at 10 infestors are now pumping out, and a whole bunch of roaches are now starting to come into the middle of the map here. He's going to need to get into a good position to make sure he can defend against this attack. As we mentioned, there are a huge total of infestors around the map, putting down some infested Terrans to make sure they take some damage, and it looks as if they will. Fungal growths going off in the middle, right on the top of Destiny's roaches there, losing out to some of those fungal growths, and now infested Terrans going off all over the place. This is absolutely insane. Infested Terrans doing a great job of ripping through all of these units here. Destiny in a pretty good position here. He does need to take out this base. If he does not take out this gold base, he is going to be back in a lot of trouble. Now, as you can see, the Infestor's still moving in the battle here, but we've got a little bit of trouble up here at the gold. No, he's not actually committing to that attack, but Roach is coming in the back here trying to snipe off some of these Infestors. They do burrow. There is no Infestor Overseer around here to take advantage of that and kill them off, but it looks as if more backup Infestors coming through for DarkCell, and he's going to be able to hit up the rest of this force. Does lose the gold there, of course. That hatchery did go down, but he does, now that he's got this 5th base up and running, it's not going to be too much of a problem for him to regenerate all of those forces. And as we can see, he's heading through the middle of there, just sort of checking out what's going on. He does have a total count of 5 Infestors for the moment, along with the 58 Roaches, which are just popping out now. These are getting into really high numbers. And meanwhile, back up at Destiny's base, he has 20 Infestors. 20 Infestors. That is an insane amount of Infestors here. He is obviously down on the Roach count compared to where DarkCell is. The problem that Destiny now has, he really needs to take this base. If he does not get this really quickly, he is definitely going to fall behind and will probably lose the game if he does not get this up. Now, DarkCell can see this with this Overlord that's here. May actually see that there's some Infestors in the back. There are some Infestors in Overlords even. That's actually quite interesting. If he can actually get into a position where he can sit up on the cliff and take out some of these units, he would actually be in a really good spot, but no, he does not get in a position to, and a couple of these Roaches are going to be able to hold up on those Infestors. Now, not really sure what the plan is here from DarkCell. I don't actually know if he knows that these are here and ready to roll with some Roaches inside them or not, or if he's just sort of sitting there waiting for something cool to happen. But he definitely could drop those down to distract Destiny, given that Destiny is now putting all of his focus into getting a 4th base here. And if he can get it up, he will certainly be back in the running for this particular game. But now, given that DarkCell actually has these bases all over the place, he's going to get this 3rd. Well, it's effectively now 5th up at the gold, now up and running. He will be back in commanding lead, but his one thing that he has to worry about, as I mentioned, is those 20 Infestors out for Destiny. In fact, let's have a look. He's up to 27 Infestors now. This is getting absolutely out of control for Destiny here. This will take a lot of really good Fungals and, of course, a lot of Infested Terrans to make sure he can take care of this force. It looks as if we're going to have perhaps a final battle here. There are still a lot of Spine Callers to contend with. In fact, putting down Neural Parasite on a few of those Infestors from Destiny, losing a couple of them, not actually using any of their energy. Yes, he did actually use some of it, taking out some of that, putting down some more Fungals, losing a lot of those Spine Callers at the front. Destiny's going to have a lot of trouble now defending this front if another attack comes in. Neural Parasite on Infestors in a Zerg versus Zerg. Insane or what? Either way, Destiny is now in a lot of trouble here. Some Fungal growth going down. The Infestors should be able to clear up the rest of these Roaches, and along with some Infested Terran assistance, he definitely will. But now, look at this. See, we've got massive oversaturation here, given that Destiny is only on the 1 mining base because he's now mined out the natural and the main. And now we do see that a couple of Infestors are trying to burrow through the middle of the map here. They won't get too far because there was an Overseer spotting the middle there, and now an attack is going on here at the bottom base here. No, it's not. There's just a few Infested Terrans running around. A sneaky little ninja drone trying to get out of the base here. One little Zergling will probably mean the key to the victory there for DarkCell, because he has sniped that drone, and that is now done. And the resupply of units now is back in effect here for DarkCell. He's going to be able to come inside, snipes off a hatchery attempt here at the gold expansion there for Destiny, and he's not going to be able to get too far anymore because there are now more and more Roaches pouring in here from DarkCell. He's currently up to 200 supply, and we're currently sitting on a total of 50 Roaches, 12 Infestors to the 25 Roaches and 20 Infestors for Destiny. Now, puts down some nice little fungal growths on top of those Infestors there. Attempted little Neural Parasite on the guy on the cliff, but didn't get too far with that one because he exploded with fungus all over him. Beautiful Fungals going down here from Destiny again, and another couple of Fungals as well from DarkCell. Doing a great job. I'm not really sure if DarkCell's sort of capitalizing on his position here, but as we have a look here over at the 3rd, drones going down all over the place. These guys are going to burrow because they're currently sitting there on 1 health, and the reinforcements now coming in from Destiny to this third base. He is now mining from nowhere. As we look on the income tab, no mining at all for Destiny. He is in a really terrible spot. If he can somehow pull a rabbit out of the hat, as we mentioned before, he will be able to come back, but I don't think it's going to happen given that all these drones, look at those drones on low health up the top here, along with this whole bunch of drones that's not mining at all here as well. Destiny attempting to get that gold base up, but it is just not going to happen. This resupply of Darkcell is absolutely phenomenal given all of these bases that he has. Look at that, we've got mining here, we've still got a little bit of mining here, as well as the gold, and I think this would be very close. I know I've said it like 5 times now, but it's probably getting close to the final push. I mean, come on guys, we've got one guy on 5 bases and the other guy on mining off 1, so not really sure what the plan is here. One infested sitting over here, not really sure what's going on there. That guy's just sort of sitting in the middle of the battle there, but looks as if we'll have that push coming in here from Darkcell. He's probably a bit busy microing other units around, but he does come inside, putting out some fungals on top of all of these infestors. These guys are not going to last long. Infested Terrans popping out. They are going to do a nice job with the roaches, but just not enough because these roaches now have 2-2, and the units of Destiny do not have enough to counteract that. So that is it. Fantastic series there from these two awesome Zerg players. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was really cool, really down to the wire there in a couple of those games, and now in this third game, just Darkcell just having complete eco and map dominance, just really stomping on Destiny's game there, with despite the fact that Destiny had about he had, what was the max? I think it was 24 infestors at one time. They actually got neural parasited, so that didn't really work out for him at all. So hope you guys enjoyed that one, and stay tuned for some more MLG replays. Cheers.